May 15, 1945. A muddy airfield outside Munich. American Lieutenant Jack Morrison stood in front of a Messerschmitt Me-262, the world's first jet fighter. Sleek, fast, deadly. 2 months ago, this plane was terrorizing Allied bombers. Now it sat silent, abandoned. Morrison ran his hand along the fuselage. The paint was still perfect. The engines were cold. Around him, hundreds more German planes stretched across the field. Focke-Wulfs, Heinkels, Stukas, all sitting there like ghosts. Morrison had been hunting these planes for 3 years, dodging their bullets, watching them shred his squadron. Now they were just sitting there, waiting. He looked at the jet again. In another 6 months, he'd be flying one himself. But it wouldn't be German anymore. The swastika would be gone, replaced by an American star. He didn't know it yet, but this plane would help America build the future of flight. The Luftwaffe had over 20,000 aircraft when Germany surrendered. 20,000. Fighters, bombers, jets, rockets. Some were still in factories. Some were hidden in forests. Most were just parked on airfields across Europe. And every Allied nation wanted them. Britain grabbed thousands. France took hundreds. Russia hauled away everything they could find. But America got the real prize. The advanced stuff. The jets. The rockets. The experimental planes that were 10 years ahead of anything else flying. And this is just the beginning. Subscribe now because we've got dozens of stories like this one. Real battles. Real heroes. Real history that'll blow your mind. What happened to those planes changed everything. The technology inside them built America's jet age. Those German engineers taught us how to break the sound barrier. The secrets we pulled from Luftwaffe wreckage put Americans on the moon. This is the story of the greatest technology grab in history. The moment Germany surrendered, the race began. Every Allied nation sent teams. Their mission was simple. Find every advanced German plane. Study it. Take it. Don't let anyone else get it. America called their Operation Lusty. That stood for Luftwaffe Secret Technology. They sent in hundreds of intelligence officers, engineers, test pilots. They had one goal: grab everything valuable before the Russians did. The Americans knew what they were looking for. The Me-262 jet fighter. The Arado 234 jet bomber. The Heinkel 162 jet interceptor. The Messerschmitt 163 rocket plane. These weren't just better planes. They were different planes. Germany had cracked jet propulsion while America was still building propeller fighters. They'd made rockets that flew faster than sound. They'd built swept-wing designs that nobody else understood. Lieutenant Colonel Harold Watson led the American effort. He was a test pilot, one of the best. His team spread across Germany in May 1945. They hit every airfield, every factory, every hidden research facility. When they found something good, they marked it. American property. Then they either flew it out or shipped it home. The Russians were doing the same thing from the east. It became a race. Who could grab the most before the other side showed up? Watson's team found their first major prize at Lechfeld Airfield. 30 Me-262s. Some damaged. Some perfect. They also found the engineers who built them. Watson made them an offer. Come to America. Teach us everything. Show us how these jets work. Most said yes. What choice did they have? Germany was destroyed. America had jobs, money, safety. Within weeks, German engineers were on ships headed for Wright Field in Ohio. The Me-262 was the crown jewel. It could hit 540 miles per hour. American fighters topped out at 440. It had 4 30mm cannons that could shred a bomber in one pass. The Luftwaffe built about 1,400 of them. But they came too late. Fuel shortages kept most grounded. Allied bombing destroyed the factories. Inexperienced pilots crashed them. By May 1945, only a few dozen were still flying. Watson's team grabbed 10 Me-262s in good condition. They flew them to Cherbourg, France. From there, they went on to ships bound for America. One made it to right field by July. American engineers tore it apart. Every panel, every wire, every bolt. They measured everything, photographed everything, tested everything. Then they put it back together and flew it. Test pilot Captain Robert Strobel took the Me-262 up on August 20, 1945. Right field, Ohio. Clear skies. He taxied to the runway. The engines screamed. Different from any sound he'd heard. Higher pitched. More powerful. He pushed the throttle forward. The jet leaped. He was airborne in seconds. The acceleration shocked him. Nothing in his experience compared. He climbed to 20,000 feet in minutes. Then he opened it up. The speed was incredible. He radioed down. This changes everything. But the Me-262 wasn't the only prize. The Americans found something even more valuable. The Horton Ho-229. A flying wing jet. No tail. No fuselage. Just a wing with engines. It looked like something from the future. Because it was. The Horton brothers had built it in 1944. It could fly 600 miles per hour. It was nearly invisible to radar. The shape absorbed radio waves instead of reflecting them. America wouldn't build a stealth bomber for another 40 years. But here was the blueprint. Sitting in a German workshop. The Americans grabbed the Ho-229 prototype. They also grabbed Raymar Horton, one of the designers. They brought everything to America. The plane went to right field. Horton went with it. He spent years teaching American engineers about flying wings. His work influenced every flying wing America ever built. The B-2 bomber. Stealth fighters. All of them trace back to what Horton showed us in 1945. Russia got plenty too. They captured whole factories. Thousands of engineers. They forced German scientists to work in Russia for years. Those Germans built Russia's first jets. Their first rockets. Their first missiles. The Cold War arms race started with German technology. Both sides used it. The Me-163 rocket plane was another treasure. It could climb to 30,000 feet in under 3 minutes. Nothing else could touch it. But it was also deadly to its pilots. The fuel was so corrosive it would dissolve human flesh. Dozens of German pilots died just from fuel leaks. The Americans studied it anyway. What they learned helped build the X-15 rocket plane. That led to the space shuttle. That led to everything. By 1946, America had shipped home hundreds of German planes. We also brought over 1,600 German engineers and scientists. That program was called Operation Paperclip. These weren't just plane designers. They were rocket scientists, aerodynamics experts, materials engineers, people like Wernher von Braun. He built the V-2 rocket for Germany. In America, he built the Saturn V that took us to the moon. The planes themselves had different fates. Some went to museums. Some got scrapped for parts. Many were tested to destruction. Engineers wanted to know their limits. So they flew them until they broke. Pushed the engines until they exploded. Tested the wings until they snapped. Every failure taught them something. Every crash revealed a weakness. A few German planes actually flew in American service. Not combat, but testing and training. The Me-262 flew at Wright Field until 1948. Pilots trained against it, learning how to fight jets, how they moved, how they attacked. That training saved lives in Korea 5 years later. When American pilots met Russian MiGs, they already knew jet tactics, because they'd learned from German jets. Back at that Munich airfield, Lieutenant Morrison watched crews load planes onto trucks, headed for ships, headed for America. The Me-262 in front of him would be in Ohio by September. Its engines would be running in a test cell by October. By November, American engineers would understand how it worked. By 1947, America would fly its first swept-wing jet, the F-86 Sabre. It looked nothing like the Me-262, but the technology inside came straight from Germany. Morrison thought about the German pilots who flew these planes. Some were prisoners now. Some were dead. Some were already in America. working for their former enemies. The war had ended, but the knowledge didn't die with it. It just changed hands. And it changed the world. America grabbed the Luftwaffe's technology and ran with it. We didn't just copy their planes. We learned their principles. Then we built something better. The F-86 Sabre dominated Korean skies. The X-1 broke the sound barrier. The B-52 bomber flew higher and farther than anything Germany imagined. All of it built on lessons we took from Luftwaffe wreckage. Here's the number that tells the story. Those 20,000 German planes America captured, they gave us a 10-year head start in jet technology. Without them, we would have figured it out eventually. But those captured planes and engineers saved us a decade. For a decade, we used to dominate the skies. A decade that kept us ahead of Russia. A decade that changed everything. Thanks for watching. Next time, we're covering the craziest escape from a Japanese POW camp you've ever heard. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. These stories just keep getting better.